All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost, and we are just about ready to get going with this incoming snowstorm, and confidence continues to grow that all of us are going to get snow at some capacity between now and midnight tonight. Certainly a rare event. A lot of folks getting excited about what we could see. I certainly am too. So let's walk you through what we can expect over these next 10 hours or so. And we'll start with the warnings and advisories we have in place. We currently have winter storm warnings now in effect for basically everyone along and south of the I-20 corridor. Updated about an hour or two ago, Lee, Sumter, Richland, and Lexington counties have been upgraded to winter storm warnings. That joins Aiken, Orangeburg, Calhoun, Clarendon counties under those winter storm warnings as well. Those of you farther north in purple, Kershaw, Fairfield, Newberry, and Saluda, you're all under winter weather advisories, which is basically a step below that winter storm warning. But basically, what this is highlighting is everyone has a chance at least some hazardous travel conditions with the threat of snow coming our way pretty soon. In fact, that snow in some places has already started. Let's take a grander view of what's going on. This is nuts what we're seeing today. We have winter storm warnings in Houston, Texas. New Orleans, last report, checking in at 4 inches of snow as of the top of the hour here. We have snow falling all the way across the Gulf Coast. We have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in North Florida, and snow is falling there as well. Check out the radar, and in extreme western portions of the Florida Panhandle, the snow continuing to fall. New Orleans, Gulfport, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, these coastal regions that are more accustomed to dealing with hurricanes than snow, picking up wintry weather today. It's a pretty rare sight to see this on the radar picture. Some of that snow stretches farther north, so we're at least getting some snowfall returns on the radar in areas like Atlanta. And the radar looks busy across much of South Carolina. But what we're battling with right now is some very dry, low-level air. So this looks like heavy snow on the radar. But for the time being, we're not really getting many reports of anything other than some flurries. And we've had some reports of flurries in spots for several hours, actually, but really very little of it is actually sticking to the ground just yet. But we need to overcome that dry air we have at the surface. A way we measure the surface air and humidity is by looking at the dew points. The lower that number is, the drier the air is. We have single-digit dew points still in Columbia, up toward Greenville, and in Charlotte. Now, that moisture beginning to rise a little bit to our southwest. You notice we have dew points in the teens around Augusta and much of Georgia. That low-level moisture is going to start to make its way into the Midlands this afternoon. And with the snow that's falling above us but evaporating before reaching the ground, that evaporation process is also helping to moisten the air at ground level a little bit as well. So kind of complicated, but the bottom line is it's actually snowing above us right now, but a lot of it is evaporating before reaching the ground for the time being. So that's why the radar looks busy, but in fact, we're not seeing a whole lot of heavy snow just yet. What I am noticing on the radar trends, though, beginning to develop here in the western Midlands, pretty close to the I-20 corridor. Once our low levels start to saturate and overcome that dry air, I would anticipate that we're going to get some pretty heavy bursts of snow near the I-20 corridor and perhaps in Columbia, and that could begin within the next hour or two. We could see some rapidly changing conditions here during the middle of this afternoon. So it's hard to say exactly when that will occur, but be prepared for a good chance that basically all of us get snow from late this afternoon through at least early this evening. You can see the percentage chances of those snow showers at each timeline, each hour between now and late this evening. So our best chance, again, will be late this afternoon through at least the mid-evening. Those snow chances do start to taper off after that. And I think most of us see the snow clear out around midnight tonight. Could be an hour or two earlier. For others, maybe even an hour or two later. It's just kind of going to depend on how quickly this band of snow we're expecting decides to clear on out of here. So let's get right to Future Watch and show you what we're expecting between now and early tomorrow morning. And as I talked about, Future Watch starting to get a picture and a hold of that idea of this band developing near I-20 and approaching Columbia within the next hour or two. So we could start to see accumulating snow here pretty soon within the next couple of hours. Moving into the late afternoon, that snow band may drift southwest here, so we may get that heavier band of snow to drift toward the low country at that time, but additional snow, light to moderate, will continue for the Midlands through at least the early evening. The heavier snow will be farther southeast, the lighter snow expected to be farther northwest, dry air playing a bit of a role in keeping the totals slightly lighter the farther northwest you go. We continue to 9 o'clock, continuing to snow at least south of I-20 at that point, then a gradual end from the west to the east late tonight. Again, most of us drying out by about midnight tonight. Cloud cover then clears out late tonight. We will have sunny skies tomorrow in the forecast for us with that snow clearing on out. Here's the latest snowfall forecast from us, and still making some minor adjustments. I think those of you south of I-20 have a shot at 2 to 4 inches of snow, and depending on where that heaviest band of snow develops, there could be a pocket of 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. I think 5 inches of snow is going to occur somewhere in our area. It's just hard to determine exactly where that's going to be, but I think generally anywhere around here that's a possibility. So, hey, this could be one for the books, one we have not seen in quite some time as far as the intensity of the snow. It's something we don't see all that much in the first place, but it's been, it's been 3 years since we've had 2 inches of measurable snow in Columbia. Prior to that, anything close to that, you have to go back to 2014. We're close to what we're forecasting across much of the area today and tonight. For Columbia and Lexington, 1 to 3 inches can be expected. My gut feeling is that about 2 inches manages to overproduce, then we may be on the higher end of that total, closer to 3 inches. The farther northwest you go, the lighter those totals will be. But again, at this point, I think pretty much all of us will get at least some snow between late this afternoon and this evening as well. So there's been a lot of back and forth in the models the past few days. Snow across the entire area between now and midnight tonight. For Columbia specifically, there is still a bit of a range of possibilities. Again, most likely in our forecast is 1 to 3 inches. If we get that heavy band of snow, it is at least possible we get upwards of 5 inches of snow. That would be the worst case scenario. If for some reason the dry air wins out and all the models are wrong, then I suppose a trace is possible, but that's the lowest possible amount, and it's very unlikely we have that little of snow with this storm at this point. As far as travel goes, here's what you can expect. Things start to go downhill here these next few hours. So I want you to get your chores done. If you're watching at work right now and need to get home, sooner you get home, I think the better off you're going to be. By this evening, travel will be a challenge. You have to keep in mind it's been pretty cold here recently. It's not like the snow is going to melt when it makes contact with the ground. It's going to stick around. Our temperatures, even right now, are below freezing, and they're probably going to stay there the rest of the day today. And certainly it's going to be cold overnight tonight with lows down to the low 20s for most of us. Tomorrow morning, with those temperatures still below freezing, we still will have some slick roadways out there, at least in the morning. I do think with the sunshine we're expecting tomorrow, forecast highs in the mid-30s as well. We should see a good deal of improvement tomorrow afternoon. And then one thing we'll have to watch for again tomorrow night is whatever snow melts during the daytime could refreeze on Wednesday night, with forecast lows down to the teens on Wednesday night. So that's going to be another hazard we'll have to watch out for tomorrow night. But certainly our main concern at this point is the potential for some heavy through 10 a.m. on Wednesday for basically the entire state of South Carolina. At this hour, it's only 30 degrees in Columbia, feeling like 22. Check out Newberry, 28, feeling like 21 at the moment. We are going to have some dangerous wind chills in place the next couple of days. Wind chills will be falling back down to the teens in some spots this evening. Late tonight, wind chills could drop as low as the low teens, especially in the northwest Midlands. That's where that looks to be most likely. During the day Wednesday, wind chills mainly in the teens and the 20s. We fast forward to Thursday night. It's going to be mainly calm at that point, but I'm forecasting an actual low of 17 in Columbia on Wednesday night and Thursday morning, one of our coldest temperatures we have seen in quite some time. If you're just joining me, again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost, walking you through our evening, keeping you updated on our winter weather situation. Here is a statewide view of what we're expecting. Again, Georgia, we have this initial band of snow that is likely to move into the Midlands over the next few hours. And with this could come a quick onset of some moderate to heavy snow. So some quick accumulations will be possible for parts of the Midlands within the next few hours. We will continue with that snow threat through dinner time, and then it gradually comes to an end from the northwest to the southeast late this evening, continuing to pummel the coast areas through midnight and early on Wednesday morning. It won't really be until about 6 a.m. that the coast is in the clear from the snowfall as well. And as far as the statewide forecast is concerned, here's what we're looking at. I really think just inland here, kind of around the coastal plain, southeast Midlands area, southern Midlands perhaps. That's the area where there is some potential for 3 to 6 inches of snow. I think that's going to happen somewhere in South Carolina. There could be a little bit of a mix that cuts into the totals here around Charleston and Myrtle Beach. So I've kept their forecast totals around 2 to 4 inches. But between there and St. Orangeburg, right around here, I do think that's where the highest of the totals will be with this system. Notice in the upstate, not nearly as much snow. That dry air I mentioned, it's going to cut into the totals in that part of the states. But again, it looks like the majority of South Carolina gets at least a little bit of snow. So whether it's by the coast, here in the Midlands, or even in the upstate, travel will become more and more hazardous as we move through the rest of the day today and overnight tonight. Bottom line, if you had thoughts on traveling this evening, think twice. You may just want to hang out tonight and wait for better driving conditions during the afternoon tomorrow. I know a lot of schools are already going to e-learning for Wednesday. I think that's a wise choice considering those roads could remain slick across the area at that point. Any of you watching right now, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. What we're going to do throughout the day today is this. We will be live with our newscasts at 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock as usual. We'll have live coverage with reporters out in the field in various parts of the Midlands. Live reporters plan to be in Orangeburg and Sumter, around Lexington County and in Columbia as well, all to give you live images of the situation developing late this afternoon and this evening. At 6 o'clock, we are going to start a live stream on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our website, wach.com. And we will continue with continuous coverage from that point all the way until our 10 o'clock news. It's from myself here in the studio, our reporters out in the field, giving you updates on those road conditions, on what we're seeing on the radar, updated snow totals, and updates on any closings we get reports of from whether it's any schools, any government businesses, government buildings or anything like that. We will be here to keep you updated and keep you safe throughout the day and later on tonight. All right, so that's all I have right now. Appreciate you watching this afternoon. We will be back later today with more updates on what should be an interesting afternoon and evening for us across the Midlands.